To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. Okay, so we're back at the tiny house build again today, and I thought I would show you the woods here. In this direction, I know that you're not going to be able to see it. There are 3 deer right on our property, and that's a pretty common occurrence actually. This morning though, they were up here when I came out of the camper down here on the hill. They were up here on the grass and they ran down in there. This is going to be perfect. That window is just perfect right there. And so my desk is going to be right here. So anyway, I brought you inside again so you can see the deer. I didn't want to scare them off while I was talking. I'm sure I'm going to, when I go outside and start the generator and the tools, they'll run off. But I wanted to show you the wall again. Carolyn's pallet board wall with heat treated, non-chemical treated pallet wood. It's really taken shape. I mean, well, she's about finished. I mean, this wall is completely done, and she's gotten this wall, I would say 75% done. And yes, it's behind the stove. I've talked about this in many videos. We've tested it out with a thermometer. It just doesn't get hot back there. It's about 85 degrees, and we'll put a metal sheet behind it. I know a lot of people think we need to put bricks and different things, but we thoroughly researched this. We're very satisfied, and we followed the manufacturing instructions, which is most important. First of all, they say we don't need anything as long as we do exactly what we did, which is if we're going to catty corner it like this, it had to be 8 inches away from the wall. It's 9. Same with this corner, had to be 8 inches. That one's much further. If we to turn it straight, it would have to have been 18 inches. We like the corner idea anyways because we'll be able to see the fire from our bed, which will be in this general vicinity right over here. The common question that keeps coming up that I've answered multiple times, and the problem I have is I tell people to go look at old videos and they get mad. Why don't you just tell me? Well, if I just tell you in the comment section, that's all I'm doing is answering comments. I would prefer people to go and look at them. The second problem is when I repeat myself, people get mad that I'm repeating myself. All you ever do is talk about the same stuff over and over again, so I try not to do that. So I don't know the balance on how to answer questions that I've already answered many times, but I don't know, about half a dozen to a dozen times I've discussed what we're going to do with electric. Rob, you put a wall up before you got electric. You're going to have to tear that wall down. No, I don't have to tear the wall down because we never planned to put the electric in the wall. This was discussed when I put the insulation up. Rob, you gotta put the electric up before you put the insulation up. Again, no, we don't. First of all, we're on solar, so we don't have a lot of electrical needs. We're only going to have 3 outlets, and we'll probably use DC lights. That's what we got in the camper is DC lights. I actually bought lights from the automotive section at Walmart. We'll do the same thing up here. And we could actually do a lot of cool stuff with lights up here. For AC electric, like I said, we'll have 3 outlets, one on this wall, one on the opposite wall, and one on the wall behind me here. Now, the original idea was we were going to put the breaker box up in the attic, and so many people said, oh, don't put it up in the attic. Well, I mean, that was just what we were going to do. But since then, we have reconsidered, and I'm going to explain all this. So originally, we were going to run it all down, all the wires down through conduit. You see this in concrete buildings all the time. And we wanted to do it for the ambiance. I thought it was going to look nice. Come through with conduit down, and then we would just have the outlet right on the outside of the wall like you see in concrete buildings. Well, since then, we've reconsidered and thought, hey, we can even do it easier and cheaper if we come up from underneath the building. We can put the breaker box. I'm going to make a door today, actually. When I go outside to start putting on the metal roofing material on the wall, this section right here, I'm going to put a little door down at the bottom so we can come in. Right over here, I'll put a breaker box, and I'm going to run the wire from the floor up, and then we'll attach the outlet right to the wall like we'd planned on doing coming down. This will save a lot of cost because we won't need as much conduit. Carolyn said, do we really need conduit? I've seen before, and this is actually true. You can do this. You just nail the wire straight to the wall. Not nail it, you use these little wire staples. And that's probably what we'll do, is just come up with a piece of wire. We're not even going to pull a lot of electrical load. Like I said, we only make 1,000 watts an hour on our sunny day in the summer. Most all other times, you know, we're making 500-600 watts. So we just don't use a lot of electric. So today I'm going to go outside and I'm going to start working on that other wall. So yesterday I got this wall completed with the metal siding. Today I'm going to work on the opposite side. So they're still out there. I know you can't see them. I can only see them when they flick their tail or move their head. But they're not scared, and here I am talking. They're not bouncing around. I was hoping I'd get some movement so you could see them, but they're just not going to move, those deer. There's one that just looked up at me. So yesterday I finished this wall. Everybody got to see this wall finished. And so I'm just going to do the other side today. But today I'm going to make an entrance down at the bottom. So I got to make one cut on my first panel, and it's going to come down to right here. And then I'll leave an opening for 3 feet wide. That's how wide the panel is, where I can crawl in. So it'll be a little crawl space. I got to clean all this out so I don't trap it in there. And then I should have, what, 3 panels that I got to put up. And then I got to start working on the window. Apparently those deer don't care about no trespassing signs. I put it there so nobody comes around the tiny house and gets hurt. Okay, before I get started, I gotta fix my house wrap here. When I was lifting the metal roofing onto the roof, I guess I came around and I swung and I hit a pretty good swath here. So what I'm gonna do is take this tie-back tape and I'm gonna patch it up. I consider just using my remainder of my house wrap to finish that, but I don't know. I think that I can do that with tape, but I want to try to keep the moisture out of this as much as possible. Now, speaking of moisture, somebody sent me a link stating that metal roofs have condensation on the underside of the metal. It's going to rot the wood. If I heat inside the house, so the heat causes condensation. Well, I did a lot of research on this. The person who sent me the link didn't identify what the solution to the problem is. Obviously there's a solution, or they wouldn't put metal roofs on buildings. And I'm following all the instructions on metal roofs. Well, the solutions are simple. First, you put house wrap on, which that's the first step you do on any metal roofing construction. And this other solution is you got to insulate. When warm air hits cold air, that warm air is going to cause condensation. So in the attic, I've insulated. On the walls, I've insulated. Now, of course, it's going to, you know, some of that heat is going to escape, but that's why you have the house wrap on. It's easy to find problems with your build or your project. It's not so easy to find the solutions, and that's what I'm always a big fan of. When I worked in manufacturing, people are really good at finding problems. Oh, that's not going to work, and I'll tell you why it's not going to work. And I always reply back, well, make it work. You got to find solutions. The options are, okay, don't build a house, live out on the ground. Yeah, well, that's not really my cup of tea. First thing I got to do is I got to hang 1x4s up on the wall. That way I can screw the metal into something. Okay, as I said earlier, I'm going to cut my metal right here at 93 inches. Once again, I'm going to be using my circular saw with a metal cutting disc. Okay, so I got 3 panels up. I cut out the door. I still got to make the door. I'm gonna put a latch on it and the whole thing. This one required a cut. Man, those make me so nervous. So I walk down the hill so you can see it. I tell you, one of the things that, I don't know, I don't even want to say frustrating, is, I'm not sure what the word is. One of the things about building is when you finally start getting fairly good at something, is just about the time it's over. And what I mean is, like on the roof, I was just getting really good about getting up there and getting down and learning the straps, and I was getting pretty good at it. and I was feeling safer all the time. And as soon as I really got where I felt pretty comfortable with it, the job was done. And it's unlikely I'll ever have to do that again. And now the wall, you know, I'm starting to get where I'm having to make cuts for the wall. And so I started on the easy sides so I can get used to the saw and understand how it cuts and which side of the line do you want to cut on, how thick is the cut, before I get into the major cuts over here on the gabling, because I got to cut angles on the gable, which really have me stressed out. But the thing is it's not going to take long. Once I have it fairly good understanding how to do it, it'll be over. It sure is nice to have those projects over. It makes you feel like you've accomplished something. And the pride and the ownership feels great. I hope I can inspire you to master the job and then finish it so you never have to do it again. Thanks for watching.